Scrapbookers, it's Katie Scott, and today we are going to be making this page, and the way that I start out is not the way that I finish. So I think using a kit is great. I don't think you always have to stay with your kit. I also think starting out with a sketch is a great idea, but you don't have to stay with it. So it's really an exercise of having a starting point, but being willing to deviate from your starting point and just really going with what is moving you. So if you were to play along with this page, I would recommend that you have something that you want to write a lot about. And I had a rough day with my kids going back to school yesterday. It wasn't the first day back, but it was the first day that was like hard that you went back. You know, the first couple of days you're on your honeymoon period, and then at some point it gets real. Well, it got real yesterday, and so I wrote all about that. So if you have something to write about, that's great. You don't need to use as much of the page as I did, but maybe if you have something that you just really want to get down or get off your chest or work through, that's a good option for this page. So I just used a notebook paper. You need a notebook paper and a red piece of paper, and then either a large title or a large embellishment. So you could also just put like a big, it doesn't have to be a title, like you could put like a little row of butterflies here, or you could even put a picture here. But this is, and also I've made this page into a pocket. So all of those handouts that you get in the beginning of the school year, I can just go ahead and, tuck into the page, and there's going to be a lot in the back. But I'd like to show you the finished product before we get started, just so that you have an idea of where I'm going, because where I say I'm going, I don't always get there. So this definitely turned out differently than I planned. Okay, that's all, and let's get started. Hi Scrapbookers! So today we're going to be working with the other half of that kit that I made that was inspired by Carrie Eric's page, but we're not going to be copying her or scrap lifting, which is copying, but it's okay copying. But we're not going to be working on her page. Today we're going to be inspired by a page by Sarah Gleason that does not include any photos whatsoever and describes all of the things that she says to her kids all the time. And so it is, I guess it's our third actual week of school, but yesterday was a Monday and it was just particularly gruesome. It really was. So it was the first really, truly gruesome day of school. So what I did was I have these little bowls that I just super love, and I have some other videos about my love of these bowls. But I just fill them up with odds and ends embellishments. So I just went through and I added to the kit just a whole bunch of different embellishments, and some of them go together, some of them don't go together. I just kind of randomly pulled out a bunch of them, and if I keep going, I just keep pulling them. So I'm just going to put this to the side so I won't keep doing that, but just get together a whole bunch of different embellishments. They don't all have to match, but what you will want to do is just get some that, like these, I can use as a repeating motif, and then I cut a bunch of I can talk, it's true. I made a bunch of butterflies on my silhouette, and then I also spelled out the word or I had a cut file that was today, and I printed that, or I cut it on a color or patterned paper, and so I then used my Copic markers to color those in so they would be different colors. And I also colored some of the butterflies. So if you want to go ahead and pause or just continue listening, but start getting together just a bunch of random embellishments so that you can play along. We're not actually going to be using, I don't think we're going to be using any photos because I took one little selfie of me and the kids going to school, but I don't have it printed at this point. I need to do that. And yeah, so let's get started. And my plan is really to go off that layout by Sarah Gleason. And if you want to see the layout, you've got to subscribe to get it scrapped. But I can just like generally describe it to you here. So she's got like, you know, one of those potty people, you know, potty people in the house. So she's got like a big potty person here. And then she has some journaling here and some journaling, and hers is typed all down here. And then all over the page in little bits, she has just different sayings like brush your teeth and stop whining and things she says to her kids. But then she also has all these little like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like when I'm crabbing at you all day, I still love you. So that's, I saw that page this morning and I was like, oh yes, I know that's how I feel. Because yesterday we had the first rough day of school. So I am going to use, remember I'm going to use the kit that's inspired by Carrie, Eric's page. And what I want to do is use some of this that's going to be a place for me to write. So this would probably be a good option. You know what? I lied. I didn't totally lie, but I was going to... okay, so that's why it's fun to have a couple kits. I'm going to break into the kit that I made. It was kit number 2, but I'm not going to totally break into it. Oh, I kind of want to, though. Oh, why not? Okay. So there you go for changing mid-gear. But I loved Noelle Hyman's concept of this. So we'll take one of the red sheets out, and then I want like something to write on. Give me something to write on, right? So I could use, oh, that might be kind of cute, because it was kind of a gray day, and that does stand out. Or the other thought I had was, so I don't, I keep wanting to get into this because I've even got pencils in here. There's for mixing up your kits, but that wasn't my intention. Or I thought about this school paper, which I think is going to work actually a little bit better. So let's just pull these two papers and restrain ourselves from totally dipping into this other kit, except maybe let's just pull the wood embellishments from the other kit, and then I will return them. So how is this using Carrie's kit? I don't know. I guess it's not, but it's okay. It's okay because you, if making a kit and then deviating from the kit helps you to get started, well, there you go, you know. But if you want to stick with the kit, do that too. Do what works for you. So I still have Carrie's kit right here, and I will be, if I need anything else, I'm going to definitely go to this kit. But I don't think I'm actually going to set the page up like hers. I think I'm going to set it up sort of like the one Noelle had with her son going off to college, or choosing a college, and then sort of like Sarah Gleason's page. So let's get started. Okay, so I just need to trim up these papers. So I'm going to trim the notebook paper so it's a little bit smaller than that other paper. So maybe like 11 and a half, thinking. Yeah. Just so that it has, just so that there's basically a frame around it. And now what I'm kind of thinking that I will do is and I don't have my sewing machine available, which is killing me, but I would kind of like to make this whole page into a pocket so that I can slide things in from the first couple days of school so that there is some nice real documentation there. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to cut this down a little bit more, and then I'm going to border this whole thing with washi so that and tape it down so you can see that it's really down there. So I'm actually going to cut this down to, let's cut it down to like 10.5. Shocking, right? So here we go, 10.5. So that's like that's a much larger border, but it's going to get smaller in a second. So now I am going to use some, hopefully this is aggressive tape. This is Scrapbook Adhesives White Permanent Runner. So I'm not going to put it on the top. What I want to do for the top is to grab some washi tape of some sort, and I think this will be fine. This is what I've been going to lately. It is by Seven Gypsies, and it is washi paper. And I really just want to border this, and then I'm gonna just make a top edge to this page. Okay, this is harder than you would think. Yeah, yesterday was a doozy. It was like totally had it by the end of the day, but then I managed to like save the day, you know, like everybody was happy when they went to bed last night, which was like seriously a real trick, because it was just one of those days where my son was like, I just remembered that I hate school. And we had just a really difficult day. And so this year I'm tutoring him in school, so I'm there with him for an hour every day, and that just went, like when I got there he just wasn't in the, like we had kind of gotten into the groove of it, and then yesterday it just blew the whole thing, and he was like, we were not having fun, so that happened. Right? I guess that's from a movie or something, that little saying, that happened. So this is, so I've made a pocket with this page. I love to do that because I love to include things from real life, not just scrapbooking embellishments. But I also think that they don't always necessarily have to show to everyone, so I like to keep some things a little more private, so the pockets work really great for that. And that's not just for sharing with the world, it's just for also when you look at the scrapbooks, you don't necessarily always need to see all that stuff. Not everybody who looks is going to be interested. Then there's like super nosy people like me who want to read everything you got, but that's just me. Okay, so this is different than the inspiration pages, but I'm still taking inspiration from those pages that I'm seeing in Get It Scraps Story Play, and I'm very excited. So it's still August right now, and I'm making these videos ahead of time, and so then you'll see them in September when the episodes are, when Story Play is out. That's my plan. And why do I do this? It's just a way, if I can challenge myself to have a little project like this, then I tend to get more pages done. So if you can figure out a way to challenge yourself, do it. Try it. It works. It's Okay, so I'm kind of thinking I want to like use these little arrows like moving forward. And then I'm also thinking, so on Sarah's page, I know you can't really see this, but there is the big lady. And instead of the big lady, I'm going to just have all of those words today. Okay, so that's going to be in place of my large lady. So today, and I just want these to repeat. And I'm really not leaving myself a lot of room. Surprise, surprise. I tend to do that. It happens. So I'm thinking that I want to kind of put these all over each other so that, you know, today was kind of like a hairy mess. You know, that you like felt like you were seeing blurry by the end of the day. Because that's how yesterday, which is going to be today, felt. It really just felt like, how am I going to get through this? So there's today, 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 and you can't really read that. And then I'm thinking that, you know, I think I might color this like, not painted pink, but there's like, I think I want to color this black. I don't think I have a black Copic marker, but I think that's the way that it would really stand out. I do have a very dark brown Copic marker, so maybe it's called Clay, but let's start with that, and then if I need to darken it up, we'll see how that goes. I think I like the way those look, and so when I when I sort of like the way something looks, I like to nail it down so I don't keep deciding about that thing. So I like to use these ThermoWeb sticky dots for my die cut embellishments. So I'm just going to put them all down together on the on that little sheet. And let's get this down too. Oops. I'll tell you, this is the same pad that I've been working with forever, and it just lasts forever. I did order more of it, but I feel like I almost don't even need to. Like I feel like it'll just last forever and ever and ever. I'm sure it won't, but it's lasted for a long time. And like this sheet that I'm using of the adhesive, seems like there's still a lot there. Oops. Okay. And I think people sometimes will use tweezers with these sorts of things, but I'm not that delicate, generally. Okay. And maybe I should be, because I just ripped it a little, which I'm going to say is okay. Okay, I don't think this is the best way to do it. So don't do it like the guy just did. I would just lay each of them down separately and then layer them on your page rather than trying to layer them on the adhesive sheet, because that just, yeah, that didn't work at all. Well, that's why I can try things for you. So then you don't have to make the same mistakes, right? That's what I try to tell my kids. Like, I know more. I've been, you know, I'm older than you, and I know what I'm talking about. If you would just listen to me, then everything would be much easier. Why must you fight me? And yeah. So I'm kind of bending this a little, so it's a little bit of an arc to it. And so that's different than it looked before, but I'm okay with that. And I'm going to cut those little danglers off. The danglers. And then I think what I would like to do is over that have, and I wish I could make it black. Where did my little piece go? Oh no. Did I put it down on here? I hope I didn't. My other today. Did you see where I put that? Oh, I see it. It's over here. Okay, right in plain sight. So this thing that I'm working on is just like the back of a paper pad. And so even though I have this mat here that's on my workspace, it's nice to have a little something where you can. Okay, this is definitely not going to be dark enough, but I am just going to color it in anyways. And then, yeah, it's like poop brown. It's not poop, but yesterday was a poop day. Yeah, so hopefully that will just be like an exception to the rule, because otherwise this year I feel like we've been doing better, like off to a good start, you know. Just yesterday we had a little hiccup. Hopefully that will be our exception to the rule. Okay. Yeah, it's not what I had in mind. And I don't think it stands out enough. I definitely want this to be darker. So how to do that? I don't have a black Copic marker. I do have another brown, but I don't think that's going to get me to black. Okay, I do have this little ink pad in this, in my little markers compartment, which makes me think maybe an ink pad would do it, because I really should. I should use ink. I should use my my stamps and my inks. I never use them. All right, I just pulled those out. Maybe I'll use those on the page too. Yeah, I really should. I have cute ones too. Why don't I use them? I don't know. Why do I talk to myself? I don't know. Because I even have these cute little library, they're called Check Me Out rubber cling stamps. And on the silhouette, I just ordered these, like the library little cards. Should definitely make those. Let's just leave those out so we don't forget. Let's put them up here. Okay, so I'm just looking for some black ink. And here, the only thing I can really find is this StazOn, which I think is kind of overkill. Although I think it's kind of an older, it's older and probably kind of dried out. So otherwise I wouldn't use the StazOn like this. Yeah, it's really dried out. It's practically like, I don't know why I don't just throw this away, dried out. Okay, that's not really doing it, and I don't want to touch it too much and get my hands too dirty. I do have, okay, so I have some Distress ink, a walnut stain. See how that works. Oh, that's getting better. Oh, check that out. It's not the black that I had in mind. I was really thinking, you know, the trendy kind of script looking stuff that we're seeing these days. And so that's definitely not it. But let's just take a look and see how that looks. And I think I like it. I think I do. Let's just add a little bit more. I don't think I've had the walnut ink, Distress ink out. Yeah, this was made in 2004. I probably haven't ever used it since then. So I think I just want to get the T and the Y a little bit darker. And then the rest of it can be a little bit showing through, so you know that it's printed on that same paper. Okay, Yeah, why not? Okay. And back to the sticky dots. So we did a live crop, like Paper Clipping did it, and then Debbie Hodge hosted it, or provided the platform, and Gwen Asbury hosted it. And she said she had seen me use these, and then she tried them, and she was like, I love those sticky dots. So that was a lot of fun. There was a live crop at Paper Clipping, which we do the live crops at Get It Scrapped all the time, and it's a lot of fun. Although I don't necessarily think you get as much done as you think you're going to, but you get to know people in a different way than you usually, like you just get to know them in a different way than you usually see them online. So now I am going to go ahead and write a whole bunch of journaling down here, and then so I'm just going to pause for a second, and then I'll read you my journaling, and I'll be right back. Okay, sometimes I think I should just, like, fill out the whole page, and that will be my scrapbook. I should just maybe keep a diary, a really large one, with a few flowers added in, because I could just keep writing. But, so, anyway, and I have more to write, so this is not going to be all of it, but I think this was, like, the heavy stuff, so that's in the darker colored ink, and that's going to be at the bottom. I think I'm going to choose another color and maybe journal up here, the happier stuff. So Monday, August 25th, 2014 was one of those days. Allison had been out 3 days last week and didn't get her homework done, so when she got into the minivan this morning, she burst into tears and then refused to go to school. So I dropped Mac off a few minutes late and went home and helped Allison get her work done by 10 a.m. Then she refused to go to school again, and we argued. Then again at 2, we argued, but she finally came to school. A few minutes late, again for tutoring, in which 2 minutes in, Mac burst into tears and said he hated school. I talked him down and we got some work done, only to go to the orthodontist after school for spacers and more tears. Then home for more homework and confirmation class at 7. So that was like, right? All the heavy stuff. And so I want to, I think, pick a lighter colored Sharpie and do some journaling up at the top. Let me just see what I have. This is not exactly as light as I would like to go. Let me just go to my marker drawer. Sorry about that. I keep thinking I should just keep some more markers on my table. So I've gotten this happier color, and I'm going to do a little bit more journaling up here. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so apparently I had a lot to say. So I read all that, and then after all of the drama today, Charlie and I went for a bike ride and got to pet a baby black lab. We talked with Charlie's parents and their neighbor Steve, whose wife is scheduled for a C-section tomorrow, and another baby boy. While I helped Mac with the rest of his enormous amount of homework after confirmation class, he asked why couldn't we just have a little fun today. So I got out the sparklers we bought in York, Maine, and we all went out and lit them, which lit up our moods, and then had a dip in the pool and a midnight snack. While Mac was swimming in the pool, he mentioned that when he thinks of our Daisy Duck, he still pictures her as that fuzzy white duckling, and he asked if I still thought about him that way. You will always be my little guy, Mac. Let me just put that in quotes. I still picture you as my baby boy, or my little guy, full of smiles and hugs and energy. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, I felt renewed with hope. And so, there we go. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of embellishment in the tiny bit of white space we have left on this page. And yeah, and then we'll be done. So I did have one little, so I got all of those things out and I didn't use them on this page. That doesn't mean I won't use them. So I'm probably just going to use them on a different layout. So let's just kind of use what we have here in front of me. And it's okay if you get out a bunch of supplies and then you're like, oh, didn't use any of those. It happens. It's fine. I did color some other butterflies. I'm just trying to figure out where they went. So I had some that I had colored with the Copics. I don't know where they went. Maybe it's a sign that I shouldn't use them, but I don't think so. So I also have this little, instead of the butterflies, which I really did want to use the butterflies, but I had this little like owl and the little guy, which kind of tells the story of today, which was you know, about my son and I, which could be poking out from there. That might be kind of cute. I don't know if you know that's an owl or not. I should have left some more space, so note to self, note to you. I really did pull a whole bunch of stuff and then I didn't use it. Okay, so here are the ones that I did make, and I don't know as if I really want to use these. They seem kind of too big for the space, and I kind of like these little owls. I wish that I would have left a little more space here, so you might want to do a little bit of embellishing before you put all of that journaling on the page. But also what I'm thinking now is I would, instead of white space, because you know I hate white space, I think I want a picture of my son and I here in this space, and then I'll put the little owls right here, and I might have just a little something for the owls to sit on, maybe something like this, right? Maybe something like that, but I think a picture of my son and I here, I think would be, I think I would really like that, because that's really like the meaning of the page. Like today was rough, but we managed to save it. So let me go ahead and find a picture of him and I that's kind of recent and that will kind of fit into this tiny bit of white space there. But I almost feel like when you have so much journaling, like the journaling almost works as your white space. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I was looking for a picture of the two of us, but instead I found this one where he's jumping into the pool. And this, you know, today did have to do with going into the pool, which was a definite stress reliever. So I'm just going to cut that photo down a bit. I'm going to, I think, cut it into a square. So let's try like a 3x3 square. And, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have left it a little bit bigger. This is an exercise in how to make mistakes on a scrapbook page. Right? Yeah. So, what do they say? Measure twice, cut once, or not. So I'm going to cut this down just a little bit more. And it's okay with me that this photo wasn't taken today. That's fine. So I think that I would like to have some kind of a frame around that photo. Let's just see if we can find something that will work. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I think I'm kind of okay with that arrangement there. So there's a eensy weensy spot of white space. I know. So I took this class about a year or so ago with Debbie Hodge, and it was called like a live critique or something like that, where we would read this book called White Space is Not the Enemy. And yeah, it didn't really sink in for me. I mean, I did learn a lot, but still have not embraced white space like I should. So I'm going to make the same mistake that I made before, where I put the things together on this, the sticky dot sheet, and I'm sure it's not going to work again. Because you know why it doesn't work? Because it doesn't stick the things together. That's the problem. Okay. And I'm actually, I see these little, let's just pull these off. These were already, so I've got The Sweetest Thing and Good Times. So that, I think those will work for the page. And then I have my other wood veneers in a little bag right near me because they were part of the kit. And I'm going to use those on this page. So there'll be something else to look at, you know. Because white space is the enemy, right? So there is a little photo. And as long as we've got this adhesive out, I'll just keep using it. And this is going to kind of sit down. Something like this. I should have measured that out just a little. Yep. What not to do in scrapbooking. That's what I like to teach you. Okay. So this needs to move over a little. And that's, you know, a great reason to figure out where you're, okay, that's not working. So let's let's just try something else. So let's try just a little more of this tape. So the tape is going to be our like little shelf to sit on. I think it needs to be slightly longer than that. Here we go. And I like the frame to actually go over this. So using the sticky dots is probably not the best idea when you want to move things around, because they're pretty strong actually. Okay, and then here's my little owls. They'll go there. Again, I'm just going to stick them down with this super strong adhesive anyways, before I finagle with, you know, mess around with the rest of it. But that's just me. Impatient. Okay. And then we have that little Good Times, Sweetness, Smile, and the two of us. And so, where does the little heart go? Can it go up here? I think I'm going to put it down here because I usually end with like Love Mom. So let's put it down there with a Brad. Okay, so how is this page like the pages that I saw in Storyplay? Well, I've sort of used the kits that were inspired by Storyplay, But then I use this frame of the red on the outside with something on the inside that you can, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's something that you can write on for the inside. That was inspired by Noelle's page. And then this, even though it really didn't seem like it, but to have some big embellishment on this side was inspired by Sarah Gleason's page. In addition to, and that's where I kind of deviated from hers, is that then I was going to do all of the embellishments, but instead it seemed like I had a lot to say. So I went ahead and wrote all over the entire page. Starting here, and then I just kept using, and probably if I had more space I would just keep writing, but I stopped. And then but the sentiment of, she was talking about like things that she says as a mom, and then to kind of say like, hey, this is I love you, and so let's add a little I love you in there, because we remember we had that, so maybe that goes down here. I love you. Because I usually write I love, love mom. I know this doesn't look, I don't think that's the most awesome design ever, but you know what? Sometimes it's not about the design. Sometimes it should be just about getting said what you need to say to your people. And so if you have a hard day, it's nice to try to, like for me, it's nice to try to write it down, to process it, and then or to scrapbook it, because it helps me. And let's add some more just little arrows so that we have an arrow motif going here. And it's just the concept of moving on, like today was hard, but we're gonna keep on trucking. I think I just need, I don't know, maybe I don't want the arrows. I kind of want them, and I kind of don't. Let's see. So again, I always feel the need to tell you, I make these videos in real time. So I do have like maybe a tiny smidgen of a plan, but as you can see, I don't always stick with my plan. What I'm trying to do is just go with, like, continuously go with my gut and really get, oh, I forgot these things. So the sweetest thing, remember this? We were going to add these. Good times. That's a sarcastic little good times. Does this work? I don't think it does. Like, I like the sentiments, but I don't think they work. Or I don't think I want to add them to the page. So I'm just going to put them back onto my sticky dots since they were already there. So let's just add this little brad and perhaps call it done. Looking for my crocodile over here so I can punch a little hole for my brad. Oh, I don't think I punched that very well. I really didn't. I have to move my little embellishment there. And when I put a brad on a page, I really like to just use a little bit of tape. You can use washi tape, you can use Scotch tape, whatever you want, on the back so that when you slide it into your page protector, you don't damage the other page that's in there, and it just makes things easier. I think I'm about done with this page. What it's lacking is shine. And so how can we fix that? Let me think. We could add some, what could we do? We could add, I don't know. It seems like we ought to add a little shine though. And I don't know where, I either got that tip from Corey Jones or Lisa Dickinson. And there is a Get It Scrapped edition called Adding Oomph and Polish to Your Pages. And that's one of the suggestions. So there's a little arrow to I love you. Do we like that? I don't think we do. I think it's better without it. So I am going to not use all of those, but let's leave those out. So I'll use them on the next page and get a page that's a little bit more like what I was going for in the beginning. Can we add any kind of sparkly things to this page? And I don't know. I have these little dimensional paints. I could put some like splatter onto the page, but I don't know. I'm thinking of where I would do that, and it might be in this insy-wincy little spot of, let's do that. So this is a trick that's not new in scrapbooking, but I haven't really been doing it for very long, where you just, you know, with your mist. So I am going to take, just this little, the part that I cut off from the photo, and then I want something else to cover up those little owls. Let's just use one of these butterflies. Does that work? I think that will work. So I'm just going to get, I'm not very good at this. I think you should practice, probably not on your pages. Because I think there really is a trick to it. So there's some there, some splatter up there, and then and this is a metallic. Let's get some splatter over here, and then maybe a little bit more over this way. So one thing I did recently when I was making one of these splattery pages is I touched it and I smeared it, and then I was so frustrated that I did that because it really didn't look good. So if you're doing the splatter, just be really careful not to touch it. So we're going to get some splatter down here. Okay, this is not what I had in mind, but what do you do? So I'm getting it a little bit over the today. Okay, that's not ideal, but whatever. And now I want to get it over the part that says I love you, but I want it to go around the I love you, so I don't want it to cover up the I love you or the heart. So I'm just going to cover those up, just using a little part of the photo that I cut away, and then just oh. Okay, and let's call that done. Let's call it done. So that is the second page that I've made that is inspired by Get It Scrapped Story Play. Oh, that doesn't look good, but it happened. So it's staying. But that's the second page I used, and that was kind of like a mashup of a couple of, so I took inspiration from a couple of different pages. And then I didn't really stick with the kit. That's okay. I think that the whole process of making the kit is a good creative exercise. I don't think that you have to stick with it every time, although it's fun to stick with it sometimes. So maybe on the next page we'll try to stick with it a little bit more solid. But that's the page for today, and I thank you for watching. I'm Katie Scott.